And then I've read very, very many reviews where they're like pinning the overreactions on preteen teenage girls. Like, mostly they're stating that while there is some truth to what they say, it's their overreacting teenaginess that's making it such a huge deal. This is a lie. This is a bigger lie than the cake. And there are more than... There's a lot of adults that, share this upset because of the epic fail that is Breaking Dawn. We're not overreacting. We're telling the truth and our opinions. Alright, warning. There is some inappropriate talk in this video, especially when I talk about, the whole pregnancy. So I'm not gonna censor myself. You should probably wear headphones if you don't think other people like hearing the word sperm or spunk or sex. You probably don't let your parents hear this either. Plot. First, can we say filler? Reading books 1 and 2 of Breaking Dawn, I felt like Stephenie Meyer farted in my face. It was nothing but like wish fulfillment for every teenage girl. And in book 3, did we really need 3 pages of Bella seeing herself in the mirror after her transformation? Oh my god, I'm so gorgeous, finally, yes. No, and even the song, I'm Too Sexy. Did we really need so much Eddie and Bella non-sex? Really? There was so much in the books that, like, had nothing to do with anything. That it had no reason to be there. It seemed to me like it was a very bad attempt to keep Bella and Edward's relationship in the book. But, like, if you want to go that route, you should have killed the baby. You can't have a book that pulls in 4 different directions at once. It's like, baby, Jacob, relationship, Volturi, where am I going? Trying to focus on all of them at once takes away from every single one of them. So, it was like a mind confusion trying to understand why stuff was happening. Anyways, I for one think that the first hunt should have been way longer and more detailed. It was the first time we got to see any one of them hunt. And they just kind of stand around and flirt. And then, oh my god, a human! But that's okay, that's okay. I will just use my epic Mary Sue powers and walk away. Walk away from the human. That, it was, like, weakly explained by, oh, maybe she just had a lot of preparation. We're not sure, though. We don't know why. And then they flirted more. And I think her dress got ripped off or something. I don't remember. I don't want to remember. So many things should have been cut and others expanded. And yes, I know that Stephenie has since said that, yeah, it was because Bella had so much preparation that she was able to do things, or she was able to, not be tempted as much as a normal newborn. But we shouldn't have to ask. It should have been in the book. It should have been made obvious in the book that that is why Bella could do that. Am I the only one that feels this way? The hunt was one of those things that Bella was most afraid of after turning, and we don't get any of it. We get more Bella and Edward sex, pretty much. The plot was very unoriginal and totally, out of your mind illogical. If Stephenie reads fanfiction like she says she did, and it's totally obvious by the existence of this book that she does, she would have seen how many fanfictions have written this whole pregnant Bella scenario, and how many people think it's totally ridiculous? There's so much, and they're all just like, oh, this is just for fun, because I know it can never happen, and then they're just sitting there, like, when they get Breaking Dawn, like, I know for a fact, I talked to the girl about, she IM'd me on Facebook, and she's like, I had this brilliant idea, and this was forever ago, and she was like, I wrote a fan fiction, where Edward, I think she wrote a fan fiction, she might not have, I don't remember, but Edward plunges a syringe of venom into Bella's heart, because that's where the blood pumps the fastest. And I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense, that's brilliant. And I mean, I'm not saying that Steph didn't come up with it on her own, but what do you do in that situation? Like, if she hadn't and she took it from fanfiction, like how do you know? What do you do about it? But anyways, obviously she ignored the fact that people were like, just kidding about pregnancy, it's totally ridiculous, and she just didn't care and went ahead with it. But we all knew that she doesn't care. She pretty much said, okay, the illogical part, this is probably my favorite thing to rant about. Probably a lot of people's favorite thing to rant about. The most glaringly obvious breach of logic is Edward having sperm. Stephanie is using the cover of I said most bodily fluids, which is true. She did say that. That does not make the fact that he has it any more logical at all. Stephanie explained that women vampires are infertile because their bodies are unchanging, and for pregnancy to happen, there are many changes that they must undergo, blah, blah, blah. But hey, it all makes perfect sense because men certainly don't go through changes with their, man parts at all. No? Let's have a lesson. The whole sperm thing. It kind of has to be made. It doesn't just, hang out in the testicles until they decide to have sex. Human hormones fueled by human blood create spunk. And Edward has nothing but venom, as she said time and time again. Now, there was one possible way to make this work. And I thought about it when I read the book for the first time. I was like, oh my god, crap, this could work. I could understand if Edward had kept his little men that had been changed with him, as they're all immortal, and since, he hasn't ejaculated for 107 years, they could still be there, thus releasing at the least opportune time on their honeymoon. Could have worked. Would have been just as cliche and stupid, but it could have made sense. That plot was obviously ruined by the introduction of Nahuel, or whatever the crap his name is, who many of you aren't aware yet, but he's also named after a sea monster from Argentina. Which I was like, are you serious? Is this a joke? But anyways, the introduction of him and his sisters screwed over that entire possible baby thing. Obviously, male vampires can make babies as much as they want, thus throwing any possible logic of it working out the window. Not only that, but the fact that Eddie has no blood should mean that getting an erection is no longer an option anyway. But seeing as this is fan fiction, unexplained illogic runs abound. Yay!